called again?
Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the Millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean. Dezennial. Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
Nick, go ahead. Oh, there is no Nick. Nick, we regret to inform everybody, he is on assignment. He's still alive and kicking. He is just, he's getting his breast augmented. I don't know if I think I probably shouldn't have said something. Anyways, how are you, Brian?
I'm doing well. Yeah. So with Nick, whenever he starts to develop any form of muscle tone in his chest, he has it removed immediately.
That's right.
Right. Your sister does not like any muscles on Nick at all. Just
And
tone.
luckily, this is the first time he's developed muscles, so
yeah.
you know he's kind of scared.
Yeah.
You know, but luckily she's there
Yep.
holding his hand.
Yep.
So,
Tries to retain him in his 19-year-old body
right.
self.
Well, she's always, ever since we were kids, she's always had a fetish for preteen girls.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. So, you know, mold it into how you want it, I guess. You know.
Yes. All right, but yeah, I'm doing well, sir. Nice, relaxing, long weekend off yesterday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Certainly in this area, Northeast Ohio, where we are, we had a very big snowstorm, so good day to stay in most of the day and just a relaxing time. And I'm going to give a little shout out to the Allie and I have not been to. I've not been to a Brown Derby restaurant.
They still have those?
They do. I cannot eat. It must be 30 plus years.
Sure.
We wanted to go out to dinner on Saturday, and there is a Brown Derby in Medina, Ohio.
Wow. How was it?
It was delicious. We went up to one area in the restaurants were just crazy nuts packed and
Sure.
uncomfortable and everything else. So
So you go to the one that nobody's been to in 30 years. You can get right in.
It was still fairly busy. We only had to wait a few minutes, but they get Brown Derby in Medina. If you're in this area, it's a great service, nice atmosphere, reasonably priced. Nice upgraded meal. A nice steak and
Nice.
the whole bit. So it was a nice evening, and then we stopped at a winery on Saturday as well, and then football on Sunday and all that stuff. And like I said, just a nice snow day yesterday. Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. It was a crappy
so it was not a good
game,
football day for you.
It's okay. It's all right. They didn't deserve to win.
It wasn't really a football day for me, anyways. I'm a Browns fan, so
Yeah.
I don't.
It's been so it's a long while for the Browns fans too. Absolutely. So, how are you, Dean? How are things going with you, sir?
Brian, I am rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I am well. The weekend was fun. With the snow, we got a lot of TV and whatnot. I don't know if you've checked out my personal Facebook page. Maybe we'll post this on the show page. But I tried snowboarding. I have a small hill, very small hill in the front of my yard or whatever, and my son got a snowboard for Christmas, and so he was practicing. I'm like, let's give it a shot. So he went and recorded. So I did not make it. There's a reason I say I'm behind the camera and don't do what do they call it? Oh yeah, sports. Yeah, there's a reason that doesn't happen. Yeah, but other than that, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I did see your post. It was a lot of fun. At least Carter was certainly getting a good laugh out of it. So
Yeah, that evil maniacal laugh too. Well, shit takes after his dad. That was good. But let's see the weekend. You know, I didn't do a whole lot. Just kind of hung out. Got to do a little hanging with one Mr. Aaron Blake. And no, I'm not going to sneak in the read now because you know how I enjoy my segues. But yeah, got to hang out with little Aaron Blake a little bit. That was fun. But one thing I did want to mention, you said the derby, brown derby. You ever try to wear one? Not necessarily brown, but a derby bowler type hat?
I have not.
That is actually what got me to the Akron Hattery for the first time. Shout out to them. You know, if anybody's needing a nice, fine gentleman's hat, I've got a couple from there. I originally went there for the bowler hat, a derby, to see what it would look like. And I have the head of an Easter Island statue. It's really long, and it didn't look right. You took Laurel's hat and put it on Hardy's head, and it just didn't work. It was very awkward. They're not really to shape. They're kind of just very stiff, and it didn't look right. Anyways, went around that tree, ended up on this side, so here we are.
There we go. All right. Well, as Nick is not here, I have to do some extra. Both have to do some extra work tonight. So, I'll just tell the folks where they can find us out there.
Dean, you're a fucking idiot. Oh, sorry, I'm doing Nick's part on that side. Go, you do the other part.
Sure. There you go. Thank you. Making up for Nick already.
That's right.
So we are normally, three friends on this show from three different generations talking all things nerdy and pop culture. So we do pop culture talk, nerdy talk. Obviously, personal insults wouldn't be a Convincing Idiot show without that.
Nope.
We can be found out there. Links to all of our social media accounts: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Can be found the two main places. Our Linktree account. So just look up Linktree Convincing Idiots, and that'll pull up our Linktree platform page. Nothing to log into. Just simply links to all of our social media. Check us out there. And our main area is our website. So just Convincing Idiots, one word, .wordpress.com. Check us out there. Also links to all our social media, links to all of our recent episodes via Spotify, and our YouTube channel, videos there, ways you can help the show. If you're looking to donate, you can certainly find information there. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, bios, clips, all kinds of fun things on our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So if you go one place, go there. If you like our stuff, give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell a friend. We appreciate your support out there.
Tell your mom. She's going to love us.
Absolutely. And Dean, also, I have a little flag here in my hand here, if you can't see us on video. So
look at that. We got some black. We got some red. We got some yellow. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the German flag here.
That's right. So I have one of these displayed in my home as I went and did a DNA test through 23andMe a little while ago, and discovered that I have about over 50% German, very likely German, French, and I also have Irish and English in me. But yes, that was some cool newfound roots. So in my home,
majority is German.
That's right. It's a higher percentage of German, absolutely, as Nick is as well. So
he's quite German.
Absolutely. So anyway, we've noticed on our listens, we're getting a few more listens out of Germany. So want to thank our German fan or fans, whoever you guys are out there. That's right.
I do it right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
This podcast, and as you know, Dina doing another podcast that came from Gen X with some other guys here, and that also is increasing in German listens. I don't know if it's the same fans or not, but we appreciate your support out there. Thank you.
I'm more surprised that we'd have crossover fans.
It's pretty amazing.
Because
amazing.
You guys do a classy show over there, and we do this rubbish.
Yeah, it's a nice. We want to be a well-rounded podcast listener, right?
Well, luckily you have the body for it.
That's right. All right, so thank you, Germany. We appreciate
Absolutely
your support and everybody's support out there, and a lot of new countries, Dean. We've seen a lot of listens in all kinds of countries here and there cropping up.
It's because we're a global motherfucking podcast.
That's right. Pretty amazing stuff. We saw one in Saudi Arabia recently, Botswana, and
Shout out to Botswana.
Absolutely. If you guys are listening out there once in a while, we hope you listen more frequently. Love to have you as an ongoing listener. So, I've
told you guys out there before. Just shout us out on not even shout out. Just go to our Facebook page and just type in any one of the comments, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and just type in where you're listening from. Don't even give name. You don't need to give any of that. Just type in the country you're from. Just give us a heads up.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start out, Dean. You and I, especially with the snow day and all that, we both watched a little bit more TV over the last week here. TV, movies, what have you. Yeah. So let's go into idiot reviews, sir.
Idiot reviews. Yes.
So what do you got?
Well, I've watched quite a few things. Some of my favorites. Let's start with. Well, I know there are a couple things we both watched. So I'm going to give a couple things that maybe just I have watched.
Sure.
The Righteous Gemstones. I mentioned it last week. The Righteous Gemstones on MTV on HBO.
Okay.
John Goodman, Adam Devine, and why do I keep blanking on that dude's name? He's the creator of it. No, he was Kenny Powers. Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. No matter, and it sucks because I'm a really big fan of his, and every time I watch something about him, I forget the guy's name. I don't know why. It's just not a name that staples into my brain there. But yeah, it's about a family of like a big, box church, not box church, but a big conglomerate church,
like a mega church.
Mega church, yeah, and it's kind of their antics. And it's a comedy, but it's kind of a dark comedy. It's quite good. I mean, anytime you see John Goodman, I'm game.
Sure.
Love on the Spectrum, season 2. I don't know if you're familiar. Did you watch?
I've not.
Dude, I'm going to tell you. This is going to be. This is going to show my soft side. It is a very sweet show. It is about. They follow a group of autistic young adults in Australia. It's reality, and it's like a documentary reality, and they follow them and they kind of set them up on dates because people on the spectrum, some of them are a little more on the spectrum on the others. It varies, but because they're looking for love as well, and it's a really this is season 2, and it's a really sweet, cool show. I mean, you really watch some of these men and women, and you're like, you really kind of fall in love with them, as people. You're like, man, I really want that to fucking work out. Yeah,
that's
it's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, okay.
I think you'd enjoy it, Brian.
All right.
And then you'd watched it before, but I watched Red Notice.
Yes, good one.
That was fun for what it is. It was a good time. I like the swerves in it. The kind of the surprises and stuff, that was fun, but it was a fun kind of a throwback to like a 90s thriller comedy. I thought so. I enjoyed that.
That's the one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot on Netflix, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give a really good fucking review, huh?
No, you like
Don't even give
enjoyed
their
the
names.
That's right. No, you enjoyed the movie. Yeah, I thought it was good. I agree with you. A lot of fun.
So I'm going to let you go now because I think a couple of the things you have, I have as well.
Yeah, I did. Well, first of all, last week we were talking about things we were looking forward to in 2022, and you had mentioned we never really talk about music so much on this podcast, and looked at some of the new albums coming out here, including the Weeknd.
Styx doesn't really have that many albums upcoming.
That's right. Yeah, Foghat, right?
That's fucking Foghat, huh?
That's right.
Not just you and me. Let's do a whole goddamn podcast on Foghat.
No, but you had mentioned the Weeknd's new album, Dawn FM, and
Yes.
My daughter's been pushing me. The Weeknd's one of her favorite artists. She's been pushing me to listen to it as well. So finally today, working, I had it on in the background and listened. So good album. If you like the Weeknd, you will not be disappointed with Dawn FM. It's kind of like has a vibe to it, like you're listening to like a radio show. So it's got like little, announcements of different things kind of peppered throughout the thing. So, but Weeknd sounds great. I've always liked his voice and his whole music style, his whole vibe. Yeah, absolutely. So check out Dawn FM. It's now streaming out there. I listened to it today on Apple Music. So enjoyable.
Apple Music, there's a good chance, real quick, there's a good chance Apple Music, right next to that app on your phone, Apple Music, there's Apple Podcast, where you can listen to Convincing Idiots. Go ahead, Brian, just wanted to throw that out there.
That's very true.
I'm working here, people. I'm working.
That's right. Well done. I did finish up Cobra Kai season 4.
How cool was it?
It's a lot of fun. It's just we've talked about this a few times.
Yep.
But if you're a remote fan of the Karate Kid movies, you'll enjoy this series.
They don't take themselves too seriously.
No, they definitely do not.
They know what it is. They know how it is. Yeah, it's fun.
And a lot of very good tie-ins to the original movies. Not only from the characters, but they pulled up clips that tie very nicely to the series. They're not forced in there. Just very enjoyable. And they set up, we won't give any spoilers here, but they did set up season 5 very interestingly.
Very cool.
Which might be it. I'm not sure. Of course, who knows? If it's popular, they can always make more.
I think they signed on at least 2 more seasons, if I'm not mistaken. After this last one, I think 2. I mean, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure 2 more.
Okay, very good. But yeah, just great stuff. To show you how enemies can come together for a common good. And like I say, every episode you think one character is going one direction and they go a different direction, and
I love one of the first things that Terry Silver says about the Karate Kid 3. He's like, I can't quote it, but something about like, man, I was an adult sabotaging a teenager's life. What the hell was that?
That's right.
Because I did a lot of coke back then. That's the only thing I can say.
That's good. I like how they try to patch up some of the plot holes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good stuff. So check out Cobra Kai on Netflix. I finally did watch The Eternals.
Yes.
You had seen it in the theater. It is now streaming on Disney Plus with your normal subscription. Allie and I watched it yesterday.
You're where I'm at. It's like, okay, it was okay, but you have to compare it to other past movies. And some of these just aren't going to hold up to them. But it was, if it was a movie on its own, it would have been like, okay, that's neat. That's a fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, I did like how they at least attempted to address the fact of, okay, you have these superheroes living among us for centuries with pretty good superpowers. Where were they when Thanos was, around, and the Infinity? They did speak to that, which was a little flimsy,
a little iffy,
little flimsy. They weren't able to interfere because this deviant creatures weren't involved. That's their
And it was
that's
so
their instruction.
ham-handed. It was so ham-handed that I think they filmed the whole thing and they realized, should we mention that they could have like killed Thanos in an instant? All right, so let's go to those two actors, throw them like off to the side, and have a real quick conversation in front of a coffee shop about why they didn't like do anything for Thanos or nuclear bombs or tsunamis. So
right, yeah, I don't know.
It was what it was.
Yeah, it was okay. Some interesting characters. It was a little predictable, sort of.
Sure. Now, at the post credit scenes, do you know who that guy is? Are you aware?
I am aware of him in the comics.
No. Are you aware of the actor?
Oh, yes, I do know the actor.
Or the musician, I should say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know who he was. I had to look it up. They presented him as he came off the ship or onto the ship, and I'm like, all right. I take that back. I did recognize it. Like I recognized that it was a famous face. I couldn't remember who what his name was, and then I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a neat decision.
Yeah, I mean, I have a teenage. I have a daughter as well.
Right.
Who
right.
In her teenage years, I would listen to that particular group.
Yep.
Often, and I like some of their stuff. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you see, but he's good. He's a talented actor as well. So we won't spoil it here. So
nope.
Check out the Eternals. Stay for a mid-credit and post-credit scene. Of course,
a very very handsome cameo comes on, and you're like, how in the fuck did they get Bobcat Goldthwait to do that? Incredible.
Well, he's incredible. He's good in that role because when you read more about the character that he portrays, it's a very weird...
I'm Thanos' brother.
Yeah.
That's my best Bobcat impression. I got nothing.
Well, since you mentioned already, so Thanos, that's who the character is. So they're introducing Star Fox.
Euros is his given name, right?
Yeah, so it's Thanos' brother, Titan brother, and his power in the comics, he has the power to influence people to a point where,
broads, right?
Yeah, so to a point where it's like it could be inappropriate because then is he using his powers for sexual advances and stuff like that?
Well, he does. Like he bangs a lot of chicks in the comics. I mean, that's not even me being sexist. That's how he was portrayed in the comics.
Right. You're right. I did read in 2006 about him that the comics even spoke to that in a comic storyline to where She-Hulk thought that maybe he used his powers on her and she was his lawyer defending him in a certain case or something like that. It caused a lot of tension and everything. Turns out he did not use his powers on She-Hulk, but the fact is,
she just had a She-Hulk boner for him.
I don't know, but they put it out there to hold him accountable for using his powers for unwanted advances and that type of things. But anyway, interesting character. That was probably the most interesting thing, or one of the most interesting things about the entire movie. So, but it's okay. You know what? If you have Disney Plus. Again, yesterday was a great day for it. Snow day.
You got a couple hours.
Yeah,
you don't want to snow down. You don't feel like snowboarding down your front lawn and getting hurt. Stay in, watch Eternals.
Absolutely. And the Celestials, that stuff was pretty cool. I mean, the main Celestial guy, that was pretty awesome to see that character portrayed on the big screens, or in the movie. So anyway, let's see here. You'd watched it already. I know Nick had watched it, recommended it, but now I started to watch Only Murders in the Building.
It's fun too.
Great show. Hulu original. Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez. All three terrific. Well shot, well written, a fun true crime-ish type story.
Sure.
Check it out if you haven't seen that yet. And then a couple I know that you and I are both watched or watching. Book of Boba Fett.
It's good. It's no Mandalorian. It's a little slow, but I am in it just for the backstory. Like I really don't need, I've heard some things online of people complaining about that it's slow, that's not giving you much. I don't care. It's what we need to know about Boba Fett. Even if this is just one season, just give me the backstory, how he got out, what he's been up to. That's all I need. I don't need action Boba Fett. He's an older gentleman. I mean, granted, yes, it's only 5 years after Return of the Jedi, but he'd been through a lot, and it shows why he's so timid now. It shows the growth that he went through with the Tuskens. Yeah, I think it's appropriate. I like what I'm watching.
I'm with you. I like I like seeing some of the old characters, in the Return of the Jedi era, even down to seeing some of the same creatures outside Jabba's palace. If you pay attention to the some of the scenes, like the toad that in one of the scenes of Return of the Jedi swallows a bug and belches. Same toad swallows something and belches. With the weird spider things that was inside Jabba's palace walking around. We see one of those with the walking around
in the glass tube under them. They're monks. They're monks that transfer their brain and essence so they could live forever into these spiders.
Is that what it is, really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. The little blue guy.
Nerdy.
Yeah, that's really nerdy. Good job. But anyways, the homages are very cool, up to a very large appearance in Episode 3 from Return of the Jedi. That particular character, I was pretty stoked to see. That needed to be trained.
Oh yeah. Well, you can give it. I mean, it's not the same one, so it's not like a old character.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit. So
he gives him a Rancor. Yeah,
Rancor is given to Boba Fett as a gift from the Hutts.
Sure.
And Danny Trejo.
Yeah, come on. I mean,
is the trainer
machete?
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
you know why? Because he's in most of what Robert Rodriguez does, and the season's written and directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yes. So great to see him. He's a Star Wars fan.
And did you notice that in the dungeon scene that he said he wanted to learn how to write it, and that he said, "I've written beasts bigger than this." You kind of realize what that's a callback to, right?
Yeah, I saw some clips of that. That was all the way back to the Star Wars Christmas
the
special,
animated one. Yep.
When Boba Fett made his first ever appearance that little mini cartoon, which was the best thing about that special. By the way.
Besides B. Arthur, but go ahead.
Yeah.
She can sing me to bed anytime.
There you go. There you have it. And finally, the Peacemaker series on HBO Max started out with a 3-episode start that's going to stream every. I don't know how many episodes it is in the season.
I have no clue. I would assume like 6, like everything else.
I don't know. So it's every Thursday.
But it's a fun show. It's a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
I am with you. His character was such a douche in the Suicide Squad in a good way.
Sure.
Right. But they introduced the other sides to this character. He has to. It picks up right where the Suicide Squad, as you know, ends.
Yep.
Right into this movie. A lot of the same characters that were in the. I don't even know what that. The group of folks that are
like whatever secret agency that sent the Suicide Squad out.
Yeah, so they're all there, and other some other new characters are there.
He's got a new team.
Yeah, so John Cena is terrific in this. He's great. He for the
really
role.
is. And again, it's weird. Maybe it's because of his wrestling that I'm weary every time I go to see a John Cena movie or TV show, and then I ended up liking it. Which I mean, maybe I go in with that preconceived notion of John Cena, the wrestler, and come to find out, oh yeah, I keep forgetting he's a fucking good actor.
Right. Yeah. Robert Patrick is his dad.
Yep, that's cool.
If I recall correctly, wasn't he the
White
cop?
Wolf. Oh yeah, cop
White
attorney.
Wolf?
He was he's the White Wolf in this show, but he was the T-1000 or whatever. He was the Liquid Terminator in T2.
Yeah, pretty cool to see him in this very,
he's not a good guy.
No.
Yeah, he's quite the bad guy.
Yeah, and
how cool is the eagle?
Yeah, Eagly the eagle.
Yeah,
pet eagle.
The eagle. I mean, I know it's CGI, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah, but every character is great. And then I had to look him up here. Freddie Stroma as the vigilante.
Yeah, that guy's good.
Just a goofball, nerdy guy wearing a vigilante and just kill people with easily and without
remorse.
Right.
Remorse.
Yeah. So anyway, definitely not a kid's show at all. But if you if you like the Suicide Squad movie, if you have not seen that, definitely check that out. And if you like that movie, you will definitely enjoy Peacemaker.
The idea that they gave him like all these different helmets.
Yeah.
Because that's the dumbest part of me. I thought in Suicide Squad was this guy with this stupid helmet, but now it's kind of cool. Like when they when he was in the parking lot, I'm gonna give him much away, but it explodes like a whatever bomb and just destroys everything around it.
Mm-hmm. The sonic boom.
Awesome. Yeah, the sonic boom. Yeah. And destroys every fucking car around it. Luckily and hopefully they have insurance. And if they do, I hope they have Blake Insurance. I'll tell you that.
Right. That's right.
Because Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, business, and life insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, go ahead and tell them Convincing Idiot sent you. And, I mean, you're not going to get anything else, but he'll give you a smile, maybe a handshake. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or he'll kick you out. I don't know. Let's find out. But
very possible.
Yes. Again, call 234-571-5359. Took the glasses off. I have to make sure what that last number was.
And an added thanks to Aaron as well, who helped us set up an LLC for this podcast. So thank you again for that, Aaron. We appreciate your sponsorship and your support.
And friendship. Mainly friendship.
Absolutely. But yeah, so add a bonus back to Peacemaker for a second here for me is the soundtrack. So James Gunn made, as if of course most people know if you listen to the show, James Gunn made the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the first two. He's making the third. He made Suicide Squad, and he also has written and directed this. Excuse me. So one thing that he's definitely known for is the way he blends in the soundtrack into his stuff, and he must be around he's my Gen X age, so he has a lot of, like in this particular series, 80s metal music. He talks about references some of it, Cinderella, Firehouse, and a few others. Go ahead.
Well, to let them know is because that is what the Peacemaker is into. That's his genre of music. But also, if you notice, not just what Peacemaker's listening to, because he's putting in cassette tapes, he's putting on records and whatnot. But like in between, it's not all 80s hair band. I mean, he plays like kind of modern music also in between shots and stuff. I mean, the whole thing is kick ass.
Absolutely. And you can find that. So if you can pull up Spotify for free, for one, Dean, you could find Convincing Idiots podcast on Spotify, right?
Yeah, you can.
And you could find the Peacemaker playlist from the series by James Gunn on Spotify, which you can play for free and check that out there. So a lot of fun if you're into that sort of, hard rockin' type music, you will enjoy that that particular playlist. So, all right. Anything else, Dean? Have you seen anything else you want to call out here, sir, before we take a short break?
No, I think that might be everything I've watched. I mean, at least anything notable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. So we're going to take a short break and come back and talk about a few more things and some interesting time travel content in our second segment.
Maybe we'll get younger. Who knows?
We might. We just might.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, tune in to find out.
And welcome back to the podcast, Convincing Idiots podcast, to be certain and exact. Again, and still, I am Dean.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
Still Brian. And still, unfortunately, we are Nicholas. Nicholas, you like that? All right, I'm reaching. But anyways, yeah, we understand that there's only 2 idiots and there are normally 3 of us, but Nicholas is out on assignment. He is, a lot of people have things removed from their ass. He's having things put in there. And don't get me wrong, this isn't dirty. It's just, fingers and maybe a bottle cap. He's got fetishes. Not our fault. Anyways, we're back, and we wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about, and well, in turn, Brian wants to talk about. I actually wanted to bring up that let's give a birthday shout out here, please, to Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones, born in 1931 on the 17th. So yesterday, as we're recording, it's yesterday, the 17th. 91 years old. And he's still doing like Star Wars. When they need him for Darth Vader, he still comes and does it. He is not only Darth Vader, but he is part of in my top 5 movies, Field of Dreams. So, Happy birthday to James Earl Jones.
Yeah, some definitely iconic characters. Like, of course, you can mention. You think about the character Darth Vader. The decision to dub over poor actor, David Prowse, who wasn't expecting that at the time.
He was sure that he had that role.
Yeah. To put the James's voice over that just took that character to.
It took the movie to the next level.
It really did. Between that and the very creative breathing that they did, of course, with Vader.
Yep.
It's just it definitely made that character much more iconic.
You could almost argue that the movie, in turn, the franchise might not have been as big as it was if it wasn't for James Earl Jones. It gave so much as an iconic, character. It gave so much to the movie that I say that it might not be as big as it is today.
Absolutely. Agree. And certainly Lion King, right?
Mufasa. Come on.
Yes. Yep. And a couple of enjoyable things that he was in.
It's baseball, Ray.
That's right. Coming to America.
Yes.
I mean, the king.
Dude, he literally is a king. He's Mufasa. He's king of what is it? I don't want to get the country wrong.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember, but
damn it,
that's okay. We'll look it up. We know everybody knows what we're talking about. And then, as a kid,
I'm gonna pop up in the middle of the night and scream the name of that country. That's what's going to happen.
One of the early Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, probably one of his best easily. Conan the Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
He played the Serpent King. So the cult of the two serpent heads or whatever, who was the main
Zamunda.
catalyst.
Zamunda.
That's it.
Zamunda is
There
where
you go.
Coming to America.
There you go. Very good. But he was excellent in that role as well. Been a great bad guy in that movie. So, yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Mufasa.
Yes, indeed.
Another thing I had, Brian, were you aware, this just came out yesterday or today, that they're going to do a Weird Al Yankovic biopic. They had to have been listening to this podcast and
Sure.
heard my love for him. So logically, the next step, it's going to be played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay. All right.
So, you might have to do a wig situation going on there, but I think it'll work, depending on how the accent. Because if you're like what's his name in Venom, British guy trying to do an American accent, sometimes comes off a little shaky, so to speak.
Yeah.
But nope. Like I said, the next step is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is well overdue, well deserved. My man, Weird Al Yankovic. He deserves it all, and he is finally getting his story told. And I'm telling you, it's a great story. It's going to be a good movie because his story is very cool.
It is. It's really about time.
Yeah.
I didn't know a whole lot about him, and we mentioned on this podcast prior, but I caught some podcast that was a story about him.
So you continued to do research because maybe would you say that I convinced you?
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, some New York Times podcast told it was one episode thing, told the story of Weird Al. And I'm like, yeah, just like you said, just what an interesting story and how he made it. And he's just a nice man. It's one of those stories where here's a nice guy trying to make it work. He makes something happen, and great news. He continues to be a nice man, and
right.
And good things have happened to him. He certainly had some tragedy in his time.
Sure, like about his parents.
Yeah, terrible.
Good Lord.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I agree with you. He's definitely had his place in rock history and rock influence.
Yep.
So put him in there. Maybe someday he'll get his, like you said, and he's going on tour next year. He's doing a whole. This year.
I want to go, man.
Yeah.
I hear the stage show is incredible.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. I guess he had said that it's like, I don't know, like 20 to 30, 40, I don't know how many, but different costume changes he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like for each song that he does, he's got a different costume because, all of them have a different theme and whatnot. So, yeah, I definitely want to go see one of those those live shows.
Absolutely. Okay. What else did you have there, sir? Anything else?
Oh, sorry, you got me taking a drink.
That's okay.
Of my beer. Well, last thing I have. Do you have anything?
Yeah, you know what? I noticed this day in pop culture yesterday, the 17th of January, and it seems like it would be longer ago, but in 1984, the Supreme Court heard and approved a case that private VCRs can be used to record shows to watch later. So think about that. It really wasn't all that long ago. And it's certainly, younger folks today have no clue of what it was like at all to have to.
Your favorite show comes on, sporting event. How many people somewhere in their garages or basements or attics have a copy of the final episode of MASH? I guarantee you it's thousands.
Sure. Absolutely. I had a VCR back in, our family got one, and then I got my own, and that was like a huge deal back then because, Obviously, you did not have to wait for your favorite show to come on. You could record it, and I think that's what the networks didn't like. They didn't like the fact that you could fast forward through the commercials and the ratings, right, and all that type of stuff. And I don't know how that really worked, or how it works even. I don't know how it even works.
Nielsen ratings are so fucked up, anyways. Yeah. I mean, it's such an archaic way of determining ratings. They got to do something better than that. And I mean, it's been going on for since soon after TV was invented. So they still haven't changed it. I don't know. But yeah. It. I mean, one thing that I had. I have 2 stacks of VHS tapes because I was a huge recording off the TV. Sure. And after the Supreme Court allowed me to do so, I did it legally. I have a big stack of wrestling, Monday Night Raw tapes.
Sure.
And then also I have a big stack of Quantum Leap tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every episode on VHS, which, because you didn't know that streaming was going to come out, or DVDs, or, Blu-ray and stuff, which now I still am on a Blu-ray, but because I was a huge fan of Quantum Leap. And in going on that, have we heard, I know I sent it to you, but the reboot / sequel is the pilot has been ordered, and Quantum Leap is coming back to NBC and our lives. And I am quite the happy boy, I'll tell you that. I don't know how much of a fan you were of Quantum Leap.
You know what? I have never watched one episode. Can you believe it? Never. Never against it. Nothing like that. It was just that I'd never got around to it. Yeah, I know. That's insane. Insane. So I need to get caught up. I'm sure the original's got to be out there on probably one of the network streaming for free.
Freeform in the afternoons, like at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. They're running up until like 8 o'clock.
It's got to be on the network.
I own, actually, it's not on Peacock, oddly enough. That's actually why the reboot has been in flux for so many years, is because the creator Don Belisario has the rights to it, but also another network does too, like Who Made the Show. Sorry, I'm taking off my jacket here. It's getting hot. So NBC didn't necessarily own the rights. So that it's been more of a logistics and legal situation on why Quantum Leap hasn't been rebooted, or they would have done it years ago when both Dean Stockwell and Scott Bakula could have done it. Now, Dean Stockwell unfortunately passed away at 85 back in November. Now, I guess legal is taking care of it, and they're going to get this going. Now, Scott Bakula, tying back to our, speaking of the late, unfortunately, Jesus. My fucking mind went blank, but then Christ.
The same really guy you just mentioned?
No, fucking Danny Tanner just died.
Okay. Danny. Oh, Bob Saget?
Bob Saget. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I tell you, I could be drunk, I could be fucking stoned, I could be a lot of things, and nothing will make me fuck my brain more than being hot. Yeah. It is, and it's the heater's running like right next to me, and I'm starting to sweat. I've been in this sweatshirt, and I'm a fucking idiot. So I guess I'm making excuses. But anyways, Scott Bakula was on his podcast last year, and he had said that they've been in talks. He is one that kind of broke it, saying that they were in talks and stuff. But being announced now, he's not necessarily been announced on it yet. But you have to have him on. Right? I mean, I guess you haven't seen it, so you don't really grasp that concept. But I'm gushing way too much about Quantum Leap and my fandom. I could go on for hours. It is my favorite show. Besides, That Night
So
Court,
why?
which is also being rebooted. Why? I have been infatuated, and enamored with time travel, whether it be movies, TV shows, books. I've been fascinated with it as long as I can remember. It is my favorite genre of nerddom, so to speak. I love it all. I love the TV shows. I mean, there's some good and bad, but I'm a huge fan of the idea of time travel.
Why is that? What interests you about it?
I don't know. I think it is just the idea of that you could change stuff that like Quantum Leap's prologue goes, make things right that once went wrong.
Okay.
I don't know if it's being kind of a pessimistic child, thinking everything's shit around you all the time. But if I had a time machine, I'd go back and kill baby Hitler, which I would. Let's put our cards out on the table. Who wouldn't kill baby Hitler, really, right? Anyways, now that's why I wanted to talk about time travel, because celebrating the Quantum Leap news, and it's been my favorite genre, all my life. I have just mounds of lists of TV shows and movies. How about you, Brian? How do you look at upon the time travel genre?
I'm with you. I think it's very interesting, and I like the fact it's like all these time travel. There's a lot of different ways that they portray it. Certainly one is what you mentioned already. It's the opportunity in some of these stories to go back and try to fix something that happened in the past to try to make the current world better, right? Other content, other storylines are you can't do that regardless how hard you try.
Right. Things are predetermined.
Things are predetermined. They're going to happen anyway, and you could screw other things up. Other storylines, of course, are you could screw up something that you should not, because if you screw up something in the past, then it could impact the world in a negative way, if not your personal existence. So all kinds of different ways things are portrayed. And there's also certainly the, man out of time or person out of time type
it's always
concepts
fun
as well.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm with you. I just, you fantasize even as a kid to be able to go back and, if nothing else, even to observe historical events and things like that would be fascinating to be able to do without screwing up something or whatever it is. And certainly, many of us, if you mess up something in your life, you wonder if you can go back in time and change it.
If you change one thing, would it change everything else that you liked?
Right.
Just because of this one thing you didn't.
Right, exactly. So maybe we'll get into some of that. Go ahead.
One thing I've always wanted to do is you go up like in a mall. Kids, a mall is a giant building with a bunch of different little stores, and it's got a roof on. You can go shopping. I've always wanted to go up to somebody, and go, "Oh my God! Holy shit, it's you! Oh my God, you're so young! Oh, you don't even know what you are yet." And then just walk away quickly. That person's fucked for the rest of the day. You realize if somebody come up to you and did that, what the fuck was that? What? Who am I? What am I? Am I important? I don't know. They might be fun.
Yeah, at least you have a story to tell. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, some guy actually caught me on the street the other day, Dean. It's like there's something about I'm seeing me before our podcast became a multi-million-dollar type podcast, and we have millions and millions of listeners in Germany. Yeah, we become more like than David Hasselhoff out in Germany.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, right. Right now we're still second. If
we're second, we get first. If we become first in Germany, we're doing live events. I'm going there with a leather jacket and no shirt.
Yeah.
Fuck Hasselhoff.
Yep. That's right.
Actually, I think
That's right.
after saying that, I just ruined my fucking chances in Germany, didn't I? Damn it.
I don't know.
So, do you have some favorite properties? TV shows, movies?
Yes.
Time travel?
Yes, definitely for sure. So one of my favorite TV shows of all time. As a kid, I went back and rewatched the first season. I've mentioned it in a recent episode, but Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. So this is one of those man out of time type situations. So if you're not familiar with the TV show, Buck Rogers he's an astronaut in 1987. He goes on some space mission and he's frozen for 500 years.
Sure.
Wakes up, he's in the 25th century. Obviously, the whole world's different around him. But, so he's the whole series, he's still this kick-ass dude.
Right.
But he's
Like
he's displaced.
Astronauts are.
Sure, exactly. It's like, right.
I trained to be an astronaut and a ninja, so.
Total 70s, late 70s. This is like from 1978. So, like I said, you can find us out there. I think it's on the NBC app for free.
Sure.
If you want to give yourself a good, kind of chuckle at, TV of the past, this is a great example. It's not TV you would do today.
No.
Really.
No.
Unless
I mean,
you were purposely making fun of unless you're purposely making fun of TV in that era
Right.
or something like that. But just the stuff he's just, like I said, he's trying to adjust his apartment, his quote unquote, of the past, but it's more like a current. I don't know. Like I said,
it's crazy.
It's just crazy. A lot of fun
though. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So that's one of my top television shows.
Sure.
Dean, what do you got? Obviously, Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
What else you got?
And Brian, I will let you borrow the. I have the Blu-ray. If you want, I will let you borrow it. If you want to take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. Because that sort of time travel is not necessarily, you go back. He's leaping. They call it leaping into other people's bodies.
Okay.
And living that little moment of their life to change their life. So he's not doing like big things. They did a couple big things, towards the end of the series, but mainly just touching smaller people's lives.
Why? So what's
Okay.
What's in it for them?
Okay. He is a scientist, like a brilliant scientist, MIT at like 15 years old type, brainiac. He develops this time machine in this project called Quantum Leap, where he gets into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanishes. He awakes to find him, and I am doing the monologue. God damn it, I know I am, and I'm doing it on purpose. He awakes to find himself trapped in the past.
Okay.
In other people's bodies. So he wakes up and he has Swishy's memory. So he doesn't really know what's happening. He doesn't remember doing it. And he wakes up and looks in the mirror and it's somebody else.
Okay.
But luckily the guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear.
Okay.
So his buddy from this part of the project is in a holographic chamber that around him he sees where Sam's at, and Sam only sees him so that he can walk through things. It's an older guy who played by Dean Stockwell, who makes cheesy jokes, and he's a womanizer. And Sam's leaped into women, into chimpanzee. He's leaped into professional wrestler, to musicians, to a Kiss type band. And then each episode they have to figure out what went wrong, and he has to fix it.
Okay.
And then he turns blue electric and leaps into the next person, just goes on to the next mission, so to speak.
Okay.
So, I mean,
he's trying to get back. He's trying to get back to his own.
He hoped,
time?
but he has no control of it, because when he leaped, something grabbed him. God, fate, time, whoever. They don't know who grabbed him and is now leaping him.
Okay.
So he can't just leap wherever he wants. So he can't go home. So he's just leaping around hoping that he'll go home someday.
Okay. All right.
So once you get into it, you got to get, like a lot of things, you get through the first few episodes, and then you get a little more hooked into the second season. It's a little more, if it's your deal, you'll be hooked at the second season.
Okay.
So yeah, Quantum Leap has always been my favorite. But I actually did want to mention, there was a recent show called Timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Timeless was on NBC recently, a couple years ago. It only lasted like 2 seasons, I think. But also, it was created by the wife of Don Belisario.
Okay.
And it was fun. Again, especially that's the thing about doing an episode like this for us is there's a lot to explain to this. Just if you're interested in time traveler or Timeless was a fun show. A lot of twists and turns because if you go into the past, and they actually dealt with like real life things. So they'll come back and say, "Oh, Martin Luther King wasn't killed on the balcony that day," and you know what I mean. And they'll put them like in little pictures, like the time travelers. Oh, there I am. That type of thing. But it's fun. All right, so Timeless and Quantum Leap I have so far. And again, I have a whole bunch. I mean, you're looking at like, I know I had mentioned it before, but did you ever watch 11/22/63 or read the book? It's Stephen King wrote it.
I have not.
James Franco plays the role in the TV show. It's a Hulu show. So that's another one put in your list there.
Okay.
He goes he can go through this doorway and get to somewhere in 1960. And he is tasked to wait 3 years, live in the 60 for 3 years, and stop the John F. Kennedy assassination. But if he goes through the door, back through the door, and goes back, it's the exact same day. So he has to start over. But as soon as he comes back through the door to the current time, it is the exact same moment that he left. So he could spend 5 years there. He can stay till 1970, walk through that door, and it's that day that he left. So he's like an old man now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 11/22/63, really cool, a lot of fun.
Okay.
And a great book.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I'm thinking back, one of my favorite series is the original Twilight Zone with Rod Serling.
Yeah.
A lot of those episodes dealt with time travel in some way, shape, or form. So
sure.
If you're an old Twilight Zone fan, a lot of those are there. I rewatched one recently where it's actually the same actor that played the professor on Gilligan's Island. He was in a few of those back in the day. Good actor. And he was having a conversation with friends if you go back in time to try to stop a significant event, would you be able to do it, or are things predestined, like we talked about even here? So he tried to go back and stop the Lincoln assassination.
Okay.
And he learned that he was not able to do it. So despite his best efforts, he was unable to stop that event. But there were other things that happened that did change a little bit in the future. But since it was kind of a predestined event, he went back in time. Nobody believed him. They thought he was a crazy person trying to convince everybody that Lincoln was going to get killed, and he got arrested by the police and everything, and never could stop it. And anyway, a lot of interesting concepts on that series.
Well, the Twilight Zone, when they rebooted it in the 90s, it was one of my favorite episodes. They did the same thing. This girl goes back, and the government has developed time travel, so they send her back to kill baby Hitler. That is the premise of the show. And she doesn't know if she can do it. They don't know if they got the right person. And they get through the whole thing, and she has baby Hitler, and chaos is that, there's a whole thing happening around her. Suspense. Can she do it? And she fucking chucks baby Hitler into the river and kills baby Hitler. And she's like, "Oh, I did it. Thank God. Okay. I'm going to go home." All right. So at the end of the episode, they kind of pan out, and you find out that the nanny for baby Hitler left baby Hitler unattended, and she felt so bad she went and stole a baby and put him in the crib. So the baby that she stole and put in the crib, that's Hitler. So it's kind of the same thing of the predetermined that's how she made Hitler in theory. So Twilight Zone in the 90s.
Yep. Good stuff.
Some movies, man.
Go ahead, please.
You got a TV show?
You start with a movie. Go ahead.
Man, you got some of the classics. I mean, I think number one for everybody is the Back to the Future series.
100%. That is my favorite time travel content, period. Those movies I thought were so well done.
Sure. They introduced most kids to time travel, back in the 80s, right?
Absolutely. And that was one where, certainly Michael J. Fox's future depended on him fixing the timeline that he screwed up in the original movie. So all that was very interesting.
They didn't make it too complicated. I mean, they got a little complicated in the second one, but it was cool the way they did it. It was well written. It was cool to see things from different points of view. Different scenes from the first movie.
Yeah, these held up. These are in the 80s, but 80s and early 90s. So if for some reason out there you have not seen the Back to the Future trilogy, just check it out. I think they're all on Netflix now.
If nobody's ever, check it out. If you're a person who's never seen Back to the Future trilogy, I can't imagine this podcast has interest you in any way.
Yeah,
I don't think the person that hasn't seen Back to the Future is even crossing paths with our listeners. If you have, let us know on Facebook. It would be very interesting to find out there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have like some of these where Back to the Future, Terminator also gets that nod of, people's concept of time travel. It's a little different than Back to the Future, but it gives everybody that, that's that predetermined, that the machines will always rise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole storyline, as we know, is
no matter what.
Whole thing's different to where the guy had to go back in time to meet Sarah Connor, which resulted in John Connor's birth, who he's fighting alongside in the future. So that concept was like, no, wait a minute, what? So it's just a little bit of a strange.
It's the grandfather paradox.
Yeah.
If you go back and kill your grandfather, you can't be born. In turn, you can't go back and kill your grandfather. It creates a paradox.
Yeah.
It's just one weird paradox loop that can't happen. I think some of the ones I have, Demolition Man is that same as you were talking about with the professor from Gilligan's Island. It's it's not necessarily time travel, but it's a frozen coma type thing where you wake up Austin Powers style and everything's different around you and you have to deal with that. I always like those. I don't know how much time travel it is, but it's still fun. You have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
So good.
Whatever those shows, all the three of those. Endgame, I think, did it well. I think Endgame was a good modern twist on the time machine situation. And the way it was written and all the kind of twists and turns things lead to the inevitable, I guess.
Okay.
Do you remember Demolition Man, Time Cop?
Oh yeah, with Tom Cruise, right?
No. Time Cop was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was fun.
So that was him. It was him. It was I thought Tom Cruise had a similar one. He did. Tom Cruise had a similar movie.
He has a couple of them, I think. There was one that I haven't seen, but I've always wanted to where I think Day After Tomorrow or something like that, to where he has to keep repeating the same day until he gets it right.
Yeah, something like that. Right. You go back in time as a police officer to kill someone before they went on to commit heinous crimes or something like that. Right.
And then he Oh no! You're thinking of a different one. That is You're thinking of a different one. That is precog, these robots have precogs of crimes before they happen. I think that might be something like that. But I read a book called Replay that was a lot like what you just described, where the guy just kept living his life over and over. If he died, no matter what he did, he would wake up in the same teenage body and start living his life over.
Okay.
Until he's an old man and he dies of old age or whatever. And then once he realized he did this and kept repeating it over, you'd make different decisions, your life. But there was always that center point in your life, that person that you meet, that changes your life, and he'd get to that point and try to do different things and stuff. And it's a fun book, but yeah, it was a Replay.
Okay. That Tom Cruise movie, by the way, is Minority Report.
Minority Report. But he also had one with where he was on like the beach and it was like a Normandy thing in the future, and like he would die and explode and he'd start again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it was almost like a video game type thing. You're right. He had to keep learning from each experience to get farther and farther along. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that was a good one.
I just read one the other day called Time Tunnel as a book.
Okay.
Time Tunnel was a guy who he was like a army officer who had lost his girlfriend in one of the towers in 9/11, and it was his. They recruited him for this thing because he was like down and out, drinking now, and had nothing left. So they recruited him to go back in time and change it.
Okay. To
stop 9/11. And it's a whole thing ensues, but it's really cool. It was once again, I'm not doing the greatest synopsis of some of these properties, but that was a good book.
Okay. Well, let's see. We're coming up on late January, and getting into early February makes me think of one of the greatest time travel type movies, I think, is Groundhog Day. Bill Murray.
Yes, I don't even forgot about that. Great movie.
Kind of along the same line that we're talking about here, to where most people are certainly familiar with this movie. If you have not, for some reason, seen this movie, check it out for sure. So the premise, which again most of us know, is Bill Murray is kind of a jerk news reporter. Gets stuck. He goes to cover Puxatawny Phil for Groundhog Day. Something weird happens, and he realizes he's stuck on Groundhog Day, the same day, every day, day upon day, and for years and years and years. He doesn't know how to get out of it. He attempts suicide. That doesn't stop it.
Everything.
Yeah. Eventually, he just embraces it, and he realizes he falls in love with his coworker. Tries to find a way to get to her, but just since he's stuck in the same day for so many years, he learns the routines, everybody for the day. He learns different skills. So every day he's learning the piano, for example, and so there's all kinds of theories on how long was he stuck in this same day. It definitely would be many years, right? How the movie goes.
Well, like he says, maybe God doesn't. Maybe God doesn't just know everything. Maybe God just been around forever and seen everything.
Yeah.
He goes, maybe I'm a god.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. So great movie, and arguably, Bill Murray is definitely one of his best, if not almost his best movie, in my opinion. So, yeah.
All right, I wanted to bring, because you did bring up, and I don't have this on my list, so I just looked it up because I forgot about it, and it's a really good fucking movie. You guys need to check it out. It's on Netflix. It is called Palm Springs.
Okay.
Palm Springs is my can down here. I'm getting another beer. Palm Springs is Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti.
Okay.
Milioti, I think. Milioti, I believe. he goes to Palm Springs for a wedding,
Mhm.
and he goes into this weird cave, and before you know it, he blacks out, wakes up every day. It's Groundhog Day. He wakes up in the same thing, wakes up every day doing the same wedding whole thing, and but the rap about this one is there's one guy trying to kill him every day.
Okay.
So not only has to deal with the wedding, but it's sooner or later this one guy has killed him many times for many years because he just is living this day over and over. Kristen Milioti, if you guys remember, she was the mother on How I Met Your Mother. She was the one that at the end of the series. But she actually is in the loop with him because they're one of the loops. She ends up going into the cave with him, and then she gets sucked into this whole thing and stuff. So it's a really funny movie. I don't know how long it is, but if you got time, it's on Netflix. It's called Palm. It's hour 30, so it's a quick watch.
Mhm.
Palm Springs, Andy Samberg, and Kristen Milioti. Well worth it. A lot of fun.
Very good. Sort of again on that same vein of repeating the same day over and over. Have you ever seen Happy Death Day, Dean? 2017. Okay.
I know of it. It's one that I wanted to watch. I just haven't got to it.
Yeah, check this out it's a girl gets killed and wakes up the next day, and it's the same guy stalking her, to kill her again. And so it's sort of a dark comedy type thing.
Sure. It's a Blumhouse, right? Blumhouse production?
I'm not sure about that, but anyway, she has to try to learn who her killer is so she can stop her own death. So yeah, interesting concept. The description here says it's kind of like Groundhog Day meets Scream. I think it's a good description of this movie. So yeah, check that out. So Happy Death Day from 2017. I'm sure you can find it out there on streaming, probably for free these days. It made a sequel. I haven't seen the sequel, but
yes, I have.
Yeah, usually a sequel of these is not the best. So stick with the original.
The one podcast I listened to that did the review of it said the second one was better.
Oh, really? Okay.
So,
all right.
Take that for what it is. Darkness Radio. They had watched it and promoted it or whatever, but the guy said the second one was better. So,
okay, fair enough. So check it out. Another fun one I have here is Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yep,
2010.
I have that on my list.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Chevy Chase. Heck, who else is in it?
Danny McBride.
Yeah, that's right.
See, I remember his name this time. Look at that.
Right. Is Danny McBride in it?
All right, now you're gonna make me feel like a fucking idiot.
So I don't know that he's in it here now. So, but the concept is three guys, Gen X guys, and one guy's son try to go back and relive. Their lives are not the best. They go back to try to relive some memories to cheer up a depressed friend. They go back to this old ski resort they used to go to when they were younger, and it's now a dive. They try to make the best of it. Go ahead.
Wow, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you're thinking of it. You're thinking of it. Other.
It's the friends are Craig Robinson, Rob Corddry, John Cusack.
Yeah, so you're probably thinking of Rob Corddry as
Clark Duke is the young kid that's with them. But you also, given on a fun time machine cameo, Crispin Glover is
yes, that's right.
Who plays McFly's dad.
That's right. Yeah, he's like the bellhop in this movie. So he
gets his arm cut off or something like that.
Yeah. In the current time, when they go in there, he's a one-armed bellhop, and then when they go back in time, he's got both arms, and they keep seeing situations where it looks like he's going to lose an arm, and they keep thinking, "Oh, this is where it happens," and it doesn't happen. And
right,
yeah. So they go back to the 80s via this time machine in a weird thing, and just they're they see themselves as their current ages, but in mirrors and everything else, they're clearly their younger self and all that stuff. So, yeah, again, if you like the '80s type stuff, that culture or whatever, is a lot of fun, good soundtrack, funny, and there's some interesting twists and turns in that. So, again, if you're just looking for a fun popcorn movie, time
And the
travel,
second one was fun too.
Okay, but yeah.
I mean, you can't watch a movie as ridiculous as that and watch the second one and go, "Oh, they took that too far." I mean, it's all just silly shit. It's all just a continuation and absurdity.
Yeah,
you're there for the jokes, really. You know what I mean?
That's true.
They're giving you a premise just to tell you jokes.
Yes, absolutely. All right, what else you got, Dean?
See if I have anything else. Some are a little deep that wouldn't be that entertaining. Oh, one thing because I didn't mention it because of in review. One of the things I watched this week. Today, Carter and I watched Men in Black 3 for the first time.
Okay,
that was a fun time machine movie. Or time travel movie. I liked how they did it. The premise, the setup, the explanation. Well, it's back in 2012, so we can fucking give it away, right?
I think so.
The fact that to show that Tommy Lee Jones was always going to recruit Will Smith because he was going to take care of. He's been taking care of him, and kind of been his shadow father. That's at least what I gleaned out of it. That was a lot of fun.
And Josh Brolin does a very good impression of Tommy Lee Jones throughout the entire movie. So that was a lot of fun in itself.
Yeah. Marvel, Goonies, Men in Black. Name me a bad Josh Brolin film.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you.
No Country for Old Men. Come on, I don't think there is a bad Josh Brolin film.
Yeah, Men in Black 3 might be close, but that's okay.
I don't care, man. I liked it better than 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought it was a fun because maybe it's because I was expecting dog shit, but I watched it today and I was very pleasantly surprised of how much I enjoyed it.
Okay, fair enough. Now you were talking say last week or so. The topic of the X-Men films came up, and yeah, I know that you guys hadn't seen all of them. Have you seen all the X-Men movies?
No, I tapped out after they killed Xavier, and I'm like, well, why do I need to watch anything else? And then they're like, oh, It's time travel. I'm like, it seems a little complicated, and like they're just reaching just to keep it going. Like, we fucked up by killing the main character. What do we do? Oh, I got it. Time travel.
Okay,
it's odd because of like I've just explained my whole love for the time travel genre. You'd think that I would have been all in, but I guess I wasn't as invested in the X-Men as I guess other properties.
Yeah, so they rebooted once they did the original franchise, with Hugh Jackman and all those guys, right? They rebooted a few years ago. So they had the First Class X-Men so the new, basically they went back to the 60s again. They kind of rebooted it. So young Xavier, young Magneto. You know what I'm talking about? The new storyline?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. First two of those, terrific. The second one of the reboot is...
So it's not a time travel movie, those first two. It's a prequel almost.
It's sort of like they rebooted it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But the second one of the reboot is a time travel movie. Days of Future Past. So X-Men Days of Future Past is based off a X-Men comic storyline. Okay. So the premise of Days of Future Past, they're set in the future, right? And the world has been wiped out. So I can't, now the name escapes me all of a sudden, but there's giant robots that are created by the government to kill mutants. Okay. So mutants are practically all dead. They're on the run in this apocalyptic future.
Okay.
And this one mutant finds a way to basically transport your consciousness in your current self back in time to your younger self, so you know what's going on in the future to try to stop the events of these robots being created to kill all the mutants, to try to change the future. Okay. And so they blended in. It's very cool. They blend in the new cast and the old cast. So they brought back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and some of the original X-Men from the first series, like Iceman, Storm, and a few of them. But the one cool thing was they had the Patrick Stewart and the old Professor X and Magneto from the original series. They go back in time to, so that then the guys that play their younger selves are also in the movie. So basically, so it's Hugh Jackman going back in time to be young Wolverine in the 70s and trying to stop the events of what happens in the future. Terrific movie. Check it out. So if you're an X-Men fan at all,
now, do I need to see the first one of the reboot, or can I just jump to that one?
It's helpful for the character introductions, but it's not critical.
Okay.
Because if you watch the original series, which you've seen a couple of them, you could jump into this and get the gist of it, figure it out, and you'd be fine. So
okay.
And I have these as well, but you can find these out there on streaming.
We'll do like a drug exchange. We'll meet at like a park. I'll leave a briefcase with the Quantum Leap DVDs, and you can leave the briefcase with X-Men DVDs, and we'll just walk away. Nobody knows anything. We'll be good.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So, Dean, a lot of great content. We could talk about time travel content all night. Great stuff. So,
all night and all day.
Absolutely.
But if we had a time machine, it wouldn't matter, I guess. But so
that's right. Maybe another timeline, I wouldn't kick my tripod like that and wiggle it like I just did on video. But
right.
So on that note, we'll all timelines will converge.
That's right. Into one main timeline. That's
right. And we're going to end this particular episode of our Millennial less Nicholas episode. Yes.
Teardrop.
So I hope you enjoyed this our current episode. New episodes drop each and every week. Again, check us out on our link at LinkedIn, our Linktree account.
We don't have a LinkedIn yet.
Yeah, not yet. Linktree, Convincing Idiots, or our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Find us out there on your favorite platforms or on YouTube. Again, like, share, listen. We appreciate your support. Review.
And if you didn't like it, jump in your goddamn time machine, go back and stop yourself from listening or watching.
That's right.
Whatever you're doing on YouTube or podcast.
That's right. Or go back if you don't like what you're hearing. Go back and tell yourself before you listen to this episode that us in this timeline, in this moment of time, is telling you, screw yourself. How about that?
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So for Convincing Idiots, I'm Brian.
I am Dean Zennial. See, I didn't. You didn't. Nanner.
I'm Brian Gen X. Sorry. Have we convinced you to come back and listen to us in any infinite timeline you may be on?